So here we have an example of our new star map. People will be familiar with it from the first game in terms of it being 3D. But whereas in the first game, the color field that we affectionately nicknamed the Skittleverse it was pretty colors in the first game. This time actually reflects the nature of the different systems. Different systems have a different stellar class. Different stellar class tend to have different solar systems built in around them. So there is more information to be gleaned from looking at your star map, which is a big change from the first game. The idea that instead of one star, one planet, now you're looking at one star and you're looking at the orbits of multiple planets and planets having moons. And also one of the refinements we're putting in is we're putting in terrain along the lines of gas and dust nebulas, which will have detrimental effects if you have to travel between them to get to stars, depending on your race and the engine technology used, or even if you have to fight in the middle of a nebula. There are pros and cons to that as well. Certainly some stealth bonuses coming out of having to travel through a gas cloud, but at the same time fighting in one tends to affect weapon systems, etc. And I would show it off. Soul is in here somewhere, but I can never find it. It's like the designer hid it on me. So then this, some of this is familiar to some people, but not to others. We've retained the 3 size classes system from the first game, only instead of starting at a destroyer, then to cruiser into dreadnought of the first game, you start at the cruiser era. And from cruiser you go to dreadnought. I'll zoom out a bit. And then ultimately, if you've played your cards right and been a good player and built up your resources and focused your attention and resources right and research, get yourself a Leviathan. And again, I'll zoom out to show you the different scale class of the ships. One thing I will point out that people will notice is these guys coming in here. Your build space for your ships this time round isn't the build screen that you're familiar with from the first game, which was quite static. This time we've decided, well, it actually makes quite a bit of sense to just let people design their ship in, for lack of a better term, the combat space. And we can do things like give them these targets so that as they drop in their weapons onto the ship, they can test fire those weapons and see how much they like them. Similar to the first game, I'll zoom in here so we get in designing your ship, you can cycle through all the different sections you have available to you, and you can see them in game. I really do like the battle bridge with that beetle nose on it there. The art guys have put a lot of time and effort into making some really cool looking ships. Different engine sections, which also visually denote to whoever's looking at them what kind of technology it is that you're packing. Now I'll cycle through some of the other races here and show you what we've got. Little human battle rider. Come on. Sometimes I have some focus trouble, so bear with me on that. You can even see the little humans inside there. There's the human cruiser, which some people have seen before, but I'll see if I can show off some new sections that they may not have. I've dropped hints at some of the... So for example, one of the carriers that will actually bring in those battle rider ships that I showed before. Your CNC ship, very apparent with the ring on the top there, the sensor ring. Blazer section with a big giant, almost entirely dedicated to those big weapons on the side. Not much else you can do with it. So your repair and salvage platform that you can bring in. Actually, some of them don't work because you may have noticed there's a sorting problem. So the Lear, unfortunately, can't really show. I can show off. Again, I can do a compare and contrast between the cruiser, the Dreadnought, and then the Leviathan class ship. And maybe not that bit, but people have already seen a little bit of the armor designation. So this denotes the armor of your ship, and as weapons hit it, it'll eat away at it. So you have a quick visual reference of how much armor you've got before you have to start worrying about your internal hit points. And if you're... What else can I show you? And this was mentioned several times too, that we'll have the built-in encyclopedia for the Sword of the Stars universe, the Satsapedia, and in that you can actually quickly access not only background information, but as you research things and things get unlocked in the game, it'll unlock information about them, backstory, tips, hints, etc. So I don't know what this is, but ignore it. It may be secret, and I may have to double check. But anyways, so that's kind of the quick and dirty of it there.